Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA with Kyle and Paul.
Hey.
We tried this last week. Seems like a lot of you guys liked this format of us sitting around and talking. Today, what we're getting into is a topic that should generate a bunch of conversation with you guys, which is ultimately what we're trying to do here. So we're talking about cars that, you know, especially on the heels of having just done the C8, which is a serious evolution of the Corvette. Now what we're getting into is talking about what other cars need to evolve. You know, the two I mentioned before, and it got us talking, it's why we're doing this, is the R8. I mean, I get it, the car's evolved and changed, but realistically, put the first year, which is 07, put that next to a 2019 R8, and we know it's the same car. Like, I think that car could use, and I'm not even knocking it. I actually really like the car, but I think it needs.
I think that's why we're bringing up these cars, is because we do like them.
Yeah.
And they're like legitimate sports cars that, you know, has a great fan base and everything, but it just needs a refresh.
It's time for a facelift on it, not just a subtle, because that's what's happened with the R8 so far, is it's just been subtle changes. Granted, technology, it's gotten more power, better suspension, brakes, all the technology's evolved. I'm not saying it hasn't, but when I look, I mean, I'm looking right now, and I'm looking at a picture of an 07 R8, and then scrolling up here to a 2018. You know, I'm not gonna say there's not some subtle changes, but it's the same car.
Very much so.
And I know you could argue and say, because I know a lot of people right away are going to go, well, look at the 911. I agree, and that's an anomaly that car's managed to stay. It's evolved and stuff, but again, you look at a 60s 911 and you look at the most modern 911, it's the same car. Yeah. Rear engine.
Well, I mean, the layout's the same, but
styling's the same.
They've gotten a lot bigger.
Oh, it's definitely gotten a lot bigger. I mean, no doubt.
And like Kyle was saying before we started, same with the M3, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
They started with the same kind of layout. You got the front engine, rear wheel drive, straight six, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
But it has. But that's an example right there that's the opposite of not reinventing the car. Which, I mean, you look at an E30 as opposed to a modern day, what is it, F80?
F80, yeah.
Yeah. So look, I mean, radically different car. You know what I mean? Radically different.
You could tell they're BMWs, but you wouldn't think they're in the same type of realm.
Not at all. It's not like the 911 where I look at a 67 911 and I look at a modern 911 and you go, yes, the same car, obviously evolved technology, all the different stuff. But I think that's an anomaly. I can't think of another car that's managed to go, you know, almost 50 years without really changing. It's always like C1, 2, 3, 4, on and on. You know, Camaros. How many generations? What are we in? Sixth generation now. So the R8's one. The other one that I mean, you guys know I'm a massive fan of is the GTR. I mean, I like the history of the whole GTR line, but the R35, which I love. I mean, again, I'm looking at pictures right here.
What year did that come out?
09.
09 was when we saw it. 07 was when it actually was released. And you look back to like R09. I'm looking at a picture right now of that, and then a 2019 GTR.
10 years apart, man.
It's the same car. I mean, there's such subtle little changes.
Right.
Yes, technology changed. I know, again, more power, better suspension. This isn't even, actually, I'm catching myself now going, the primary thought of this conversation isn't necessarily that the technology needs to change.
Simply style.
If it's a front engine, rear drive car, or like a GTR front engine, all wheel drive, I'm not saying that needs to be changed. It works really well.
I agree.
But I'm ready for a new look.
Yeah.
Like seeing the GTR 50, love it, hate it, whatever. At least it was like, oh, cool. Okay, we're finally getting a new
something
GTR.
New. Yeah, something to chew on.
And it's not. You know what I mean? They're going to make 50 of them if they even make 50 of those. And it's a Nismo GTR underneath. You know, that was rebodied and re-interioured, which I'm cool with. I'm even cool with that. But that body that we saw, that's not going to be available to the.
No.
They're gonna make 50 of those. They say at $1 million a pop. You know,
right? That's not obtainable at all.
Depending on how you option it, which I mean, God bless the guy that can afford to drop $1 million on a friggin' GTR.
GTR.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the Nismo all day long.
Yeah.
Considerably less money.
And upgrade the hell out of it and make it faster than the GTR 50.
I mean,
Although the interior of that car,
Pretty badass.
pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
the GTR 50.
Yeah.
I got to sit in it and drive it for a bit, and it was no doubt it was a super cool interior. And there is elements of the body that I like. Like if that was, I even asked the Nissan guy that was with us that day, is this a nod to what's to come for the next evolution of the GTR? And he said he honestly didn't know.
I mean, I would be okay with it looking like that because we're definitely going into the time where cars are starting to look a lot more futuristic. Like even this C8, you can't tell it's a Corvette. It looks like a car from a video game.
Right.
Aston Martin, all these new Aston Martins that are coming out, they look like concepts. They don't look like real cars. So we're definitely going into the time where these companies need to start adapting to that futuristic, a lot of angles and lines.
It's funny you bring up Aston because they did this 007 Aston Martin. It was only for the movie. I think it was Spectre. And that was a concept car.
I remember that.
And everyone hated the way it looked. They thought it was ugly. And then the cars,
DB10 that one your brother has, that came out.
He has the 11.
the cars that evolved from that concept actually look really good.
Yeah.
Which is funny because usually it's the other way around. Like we're talking about the Supra. The concept is like mind blowing. It blows people away, and then you see the production
and then
car.
They gave us
like,
the one that just came out.
Like,
which, by the way, you guys, we're not going to go too deep into this one, but if any of you are impressed with the Supra, please do not subscribe to this channel.
Oh, that's fucked up, man.
No, I'm just kidding. I know. It's funny too. You look at the GTR, dude. The years of them. Obviously the OG GTR, the 69, 72. I mean, that doesn't look anything like the next gen. But I mean, when they came out with the R32, that was about, and it was 16 years later, from the R32 to the predecessor, the original GTR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, and then the 33 obviously tanked so badly that car lasted 3 years. But the R32 set new, it was groundbreaking.
When did the 34 come out?
That was 99.
So, I mean, we're looking at a 12-year gap in terms of like a major change to the R35. There's no R36 yet.
Exactly.
And that 12-year span
back
is
then,
a
they
lot
were
longer.
every 3 to 4 years they were giving us
3
a
or
new
4
model.
years, maybe
Would
4 or 5
they even
years.
call it that? R36?
Well, why not? I mean, R32, R33, R34, R35, R36.
But it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but
Maybe that's why we haven't gotten the evolution. They're like, what do we call it?
Yeah, they're just tripping out trying to.
Whatever you want to call it. I mean, I wouldn't even have a problem with that. GTR R36. I mean, that's just code, anyways. The only the geeks
C5,
like actually.
C6, C7,
Yeah.
C8.
Yeah,
like,
but
where do
I mean,
we
only
do it?
geeks call it that, dude.
Yeah.
99% of the world
Right,
calls
GTR.
it a Corvette.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they call it a
Okay,
GTR.
you're right,
I don't even know if they call it a GTR. Even though the new GTR is not a Skyline, people still call it a Skyline.
Yeah.
I see people badge their Infinity Skyline.
Oh my God, I've seen that one.
Because that's what they call it in JDM.
Yeah. So, curious to hear all your guys' thoughts on the GTR, on the R8. Like, is it time for a reinvention, or do you think they go another 12 years with the same body, or maybe they luck out and just do like 911, and just keep making it forever more?
Yeah.
50 years is a long time to be doing the same kind of silhouette.
Sure is.
I'm curious about what other cars people come up with that have gone, 10, 12 years that kind of went under the radar for us that could use a good facelift.
I mean, Viper,
yeah.
It's about time. Like,
Viper's one.
When they came out with that new generation of Viper, though, it was so exotic looking compared to the older ones.
Yeah, definitely. And that car, you look at the history of it; it's evolved for sure. I mean, it's a very different looking car now. Although I still think you can see the similarity from the early Viper in 92 or 94 when it came out.
Well, that's the whole idea. Keep the same drivetrain, update the styling, make it current.
Yeah.
And GTR and R8 really need to bring it up.
Those are the two that of everything that I can think of car wise. Those are the two that stand out the most to me. I think desperately needing a complete facelift, and really the one that I think needs it is the GTR.
Definitely.
That one definitely. Anyways, you guys, let us know what you think. Send us some comments. Tell us you agree, you don't agree. You like the format, you don't like the format. We're just trying stuff over here, man. Trying to expand beyond just our car reviews, right?
Yep.
So,
All right, man.
that's it for today. Later, man.
I was waiting for your R8. Later, man.
R8. R8. Later, man.
R8. Paul's like,
What the fuck are you talking about?